So how many pictures did you take of the obelisk and the alien?
At the site, at the actual site, I took 4 rolls of 36 exposures.
Wow. How much of it came out?
How much of it came out?
Yep.
Actually viewable?
Yes.
Probably 9/10 of it.
So you've got a lot of photographs I don't even have yet.
No. 9/10 of it came out. I don't still have them. A lot of that photographic evidence was stolen.
From your house?
From my house, from when I gave it to some people to do some research who I was told was some MUFON people, but they turned out not to be.
And they stole it?
Well, I've never seen it again.
All right, the evidence that I now possess in my hands, the photographs, the negatives, all of that, how was that retrieved?
Well, as I said earlier, we split everything I had up into different lots.
Wise move.
So that I could, well, at the time we were being followed in cars, we were being, we knew that somebody's house had been gone through, and it was getting down to the 5 minute to 12 moment where, if we didn't do something, we were going to lose everything.
Okay.
And I just divided it up. Gary said he would take some, I would take some. I took some to some other people and basically stored it away. Well, this was before they went through my house. And they also took what was in my house.
So that which was stored away is that which I have now?
Yes.
All right, so here you are back in the woods now. I have 2 new photographs tonight that you sent me.
Yes.
One of the side of the alien's head that is not hurt, very detailed, very close up, better lit, and I've got a second photograph, a startling photograph, of somebody examining this creature, in fact, sort of opening the eye of the creature, and you can actually, in this photograph, see the pupil of the eye of the creature.
Exactly.
And when was that taken, under what circumstances, and whose hands are those?
Well, prior to what we took to calling the alien Freddy, Freezer Freddy.
Freezer Freddy.
I believe that it was dead. And for all purposes, it was not moving. It had a wound 1 inch by 1.5 inch wide on the side of its head. The skull and skin flap was, flapping back and forth, exposing cranial material. At that point, I felt this thing was pretty dead.
Bashed in the skull.
During the first 3 days, prior to it reanimating, which is the word you used.
I did, yes.
I got a hold of my friend, Gary, and him and I sat down and tried to put some strategy on what to do, when to do it, and how to do it.
Right.
Having this in our possession. During that process, I pulled him out of the freezer, and I did several examinations, what I call topical examinations. One of them was done the night about 8 hours after I had brought him home, which is the video art that you have seen and have.
Yes, sir, I do.
And in that video, I literally open up the thermal blanket in front of everyone's eyes, and you see the entire body.
It's true.
The arms, the legs, the head, the hands, everything. For those people out there who have said, we don't see much of the body.
Right.
Well, in this, you see everything.
Right.
At that point, within the next few days, Gary and I decided we needed some help. And we set out to get people who could help us and that we could trust. Gary was a very, very dear friend. 18 years I had known this person. I could trust him, and he and I set out to find some people to help us. During this process, again, we took him out of the freezer, Freddie, not Gary, and laid him down in the garage and did a much closer examination, which in the book we call a closer look, where I reviewed and took photographs of every part of this being as much as I could.
There was a professor that was supposed to be there.
Yes.
But he was scared off. I mean, he was fascinated. He wanted to be involved with it. He didn't know exactly what it was all about, but he knew Jonathan. He was friends with Jonathan. And when the day came for him to show up, he called and just said, "I can't be there."
Mm-hmm. Basically backed out without any reason, which is something that has happened many, many times, including with a publisher currently. But I back to the story where we were. The pictures that you now have are of the examination that Gary and I performed, the close-up topical examination. During that, I opened the eyes. I took close-up pictures of the eye, the eyelid, the mouth, as close as I could get in the mouth. I didn't have the kind of equipment necessary to do a fabulous interior job.
Now, I recall you saying that you actually had to kind of prop the 35mm camera up to be able to take these.
No. During these pictures, Gary actually took the picture.
Oh, I see. Okay.
They are my hands. I mean, both my hands and arms are in that picture.
That's good, because I was going to suggest I don't see how you could get that kind of a close-up.
Right. The video that was taken the first night after I brought the creature home was actually taken where I duct taped the video camera to the side of a ladder because I did not have a tripod.
Well, I'll tell you, whatever else is going on, your story is solid. I've tried a couple times here, my cute little way to trip you up, and it's not worked. So Gary was holding the camera for these very, very close-up photographs up, and you could actually see what appears to be, is that the pupil of the eye in the lower?
Yes, it is.
And you have the original Kodaks, right?
I do.
Okay.
I should tell my audience, just so they don't say, "Oh, gee, faked up computer photographs, wrong. I've got the original Kodak photographs. I scanned them. I sent them to Keith."
No shadow boxing here.
No shadow boxing, no.
No shadow box. And,
No, these are not, these have never been doctored or adjusted in any way, and all that information will be coming out, and that's what we're trying to do at this point, is to get that information out.
and the negatives at some time.
Right.
And the negatives, right.
Yes. We're going to make arrangements, and we will talk about that with you, Art, privately.
All right.
But we will make some arrangements to, but I gave you my word that I would get some negatives to you.
You did, yes.
And you and I will walk through that process.
All right.
And I would like to be part of that process.
I can understand that.
And I will at a later tape explain to you why we need to do it very carefully.
Oh, no, listen, you don't have to explain a thing to me. I am in possession of some alleged crash debris from Roswell that is still anomalous after years and years of intense study scientifically, and I've been very careful with who tested it, where it went, and when it was in and out of my hands. You must be very careful.
Well, I went through the process of taking some of this to what you would call the logical sources, some of the legitimate, quote-unquote, sources that will back up this kind of thing and look into it.
Right.
And at those sources, I lost a huge amount of evidence.